Welcome to Early Indicators. This is episode 3 in our January domain on geopolitical realignments. Today's theme is regional security blocs and the decline of traditional alliance dominance. We're examining signals, structural, not events, early, not reactive, underreported, not mainstream, directional, not episodic, that reveal how security cooperation is being rebuilt from the ground up. Historical context: how we reached this moment. For decades, global security was anchored by a small set of dominant alliances: NATO, U.S. bilateral defense treaties in Asia, and a handful of Cold War-era frameworks. These arrangements shaped deterrence, military planning, and geopolitical expectations for nearly half a century. But the world that produced those alliances has shifted. Demographic transitions, regional economic integration, new military technologies, and the diffusion of power have created incentives for states to build their own security ecosystems. The 1990s saw the first hints of this through ASEAN's early defense dialogues. The 2000s brought African Union peacekeeping structures. The 2010s accelerated Middle Eastern realignments and Latin American security coordination. The current moment marks a deeper inflection. Regional blocs are no longer supplementary. They are becoming primary. States are prioritizing neighborhood security over distant alliances. This shift is structural because it reshapes how deterrence works, how crises escalate, and how influence is distributed. It alters long-term trajectories by decentralizing security authority and reducing reliance on legacy institutions. It reveals fragility in traditional alliance cohesion but resilience in localized cooperation. This theme fits the domain because geopolitical realignments increasingly emerge through regional defense patterns rather than global power centers. Current signals: what's emerging right now? Several early, underreported, directional signals show the rise of regional security blocs. ASEAN defense coordination is expanding beyond dialogue into joint exercises, maritime surveillance, and shared procurement pathways. This signals a shift towards Southeast Asian self-reliance. Middle Eastern states are forming new security arrangements that bypass long-standing external guarantors. Cross-Gulf defense dialogues, missile defense coordination, and shared naval patrols are becoming more common. African regional coalitions, ECOWAS, EAC, SADC, are increasingly leading peacekeeping, counterterrorism, and border stabilization efforts. These actions reveal a structural move toward continental security autonomy. Latin America is strengthening regional security frameworks focused on cyber defense, organized crime, and maritime protection, reducing dependence on external actors. Indo-Pacific minilateral groups, such as the Quad and AUKUS, are evolving into flexible, issue-based security platforms rather than rigid alliances. Defense industrial cooperation is regionalizing as countries co-develop drones, naval systems, and surveillance technologies tailored to local needs. These signals matter because they reshape the security system itself. They alter the long-term trajectory of global deterrence by distributing power across multiple centers. They reveal fragility in traditional alliances that struggle to adapt and resilience in regional networks that respond to local realities. Signal strength: converging. Case studies, where the shift is most visible. ASEAN maritime coordination. Joint patrols in the South China Sea show Southeast Asian states building their own security architecture, reducing reliance on external naval powers. Gulf missile defense cooperation, cross-Gulf radar integration and shared early warning systems illustrate a new regional security logic that bypasses older dependency patterns. East African Community, EAC, stabilization missions. Regional forces have taken the lead in conflict zones, demonstrating Africa's growing capacity for autonomous security operations. Latin American cyber defense networks, shared threat intelligence platforms reveal a regional approach to digital security that operates independently of global alliances. Implications: why this matters. For nations, regional blocs reshape defense planning, procurement strategies, and diplomatic priorities. For cities, they influence infrastructure protection, emergency coordination, and cross-border risk exposure. For firms, they alter supply chain security, regulatory environments, and operational resilience. For communities, they affect safety, migration patterns, and local stability. At the macro layer, the global security landscape becomes more distributed and less predictable. At the micro layer, specific ports, border regions, and urban centers become focal points of regional defense strategies. This shift reveals fragility in legacy alliances that struggle to maintain cohesion and resilience in regional systems that adapt quickly to local threats. Future expectations/projections, where this is heading. Short term, 1 to 3 years expect more joint exercises, shared surveillance networks, and regional procurement agreements. Minilateral groups will expand into new domains like cyber, space, and maritime resilience. Medium term, 3 to 10 years. Regional blocs will develop their own defense industries, intelligence sharing frameworks, and crisis response mechanisms. Traditional alliances will become more symbolic than operational. Long-term, 10+ years global security will be shaped by overlapping regional systems rather than a single dominant architecture. Influence will flow through flexible coalitions, not rigid treaties. Early indicators to watch. New regional command centers, cross-border defense investments, shared satellite programs, and coordinated maritime patrols. What to watch next? Track how emerging regional blocs handle their first major stress test, whether a border crisis, cyber attack, or maritime incident. Their response will reveal the durability of this new security order. Episode summary. This episode examined how regional security blocs are rising as traditional alliances lose dominance. These signals, structural, early, underreported, and directional, show a world where deterrence, cooperation, and conflict management are increasingly shaped by regional systems rather than global institutions. Thank you for listening to Early Indicators. Please like, subscribe, and share the podcast. This episode draws on publicly available information, including international think tank reports, academic research, public economic and demographic data, open-source intelligence, and non-copyrighted summaries. This episode is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute political advice, financial guidance, or predictive certainty.